So, in this visible church, in this institution, there are every kind. The gospel net, it draws or drives. And that's what he's talking about here. He said the net is cast into the sea. Bring up every kind. If you will notice here that he does not use the description of a pole, a line, a hook, a sinker, but he uses the net. The net, when it goes down in the water and drag that stream, sometime there is all kind of debris. Can I get a witness? Bottles and cans, wire, shoes, boots, just everything sometimes that people don't want look like they throw it in the river. But you don't have no way of knowing until you pull the net up what is in it. I know everybody in fellowship is not saved. I know everybody don't really love me. I got no way of really telling though until the test come. Can I get a witness? When people come, want to join, when somebody shake your hand and grin in your face and say they want to be your friend, you ain't got no way of knowing until time, and testing. It will either draw them or drive them. Can I get a witness? So, I like to describe the gospel net for a few moments. If it is a net, therefore, it has to be put together. If you expect to catch fish, it must be threaded. It must be tied together. It must be a strong hold made out of strong twine and thread. Well, if you're going to use a net now, all of you fishermen, and that's what we've been doing all this month, that's what we're going to be doing all the year. One person can't handle a net. Are you going to pray with me? Now, if you just got a pole and a line and sitting on the bank, you can handle that. But with this gospel net, it takes all of us. The choir got to sing. Deacons got to pray. Sunday school teachers got to teach. Ushers got to do their job. Every man must carry his end of the net. Can I get a witness? And sometimes we expect the preacher to do it all. But if we're going to sand this lake together, then we got to carry our responsibility. The net is made up out of the doctrines of Jesus Christ. In other words, if you're going to carry your share, you got to believe in the pre-existence of Jesus. You got to believe that he lived in heaven before he was born on earth. Lived there without an earthly mother. Born here without an earthly father. Can I get a witness? We got to believe in the virgin birth. And I've had a lot of folks that tell me it doesn't make any difference about the virgin birth. But it does. Jesus was conceived in the womb of Mary without any relationship with Joseph. I believe it. For if God could make the first man, Adam, can I get a witness? Yeah. Without a mother, he could make Jesus without a father. The gospel net is tied together in the sinless life of Jesus Christ. You see, that's the only man that ever lived here without a spot, without a wrinkle, but lived a holy life. You got to believe that. He wasn't just an ordinary man. He was God man. 100% God and 100% man. The next thing, if you're going to make up this net and tie it together, you got to believe that he died. I don't mean just swoon. I don't mean just fainted, but he sure enough died on Calvary. Then you got to believe that early on a Sunday morning, he got up out of the grave with all power in his hand and ascended in the glory. And now he's there interceding for you and for me. Can I get a witness? Well, since there is every kind in the net, this gospel net that have been thrown out, we caught some. Some of them are in the choir. It catches the good and the bad, little fish and big fish. Can I get a witness? Well, let us look, if you please, at some of the fish that we are acquainted with. I like to name a few. They are typical and characteristic of the spirit of many members that are in the church today. Number one, that's known as the mud cat. Can I get a witness? And in order to catch a mud cat, he liked to stay in muddy water. He liked to stay where garbage and where trash is. You don't look for a mud cat in a clear stream. Can I get a witness? Well, I like to tell fellowship, there are some members that has a mud cat spirit. They are always in the mud. They are always digging up some dirt. They are always where there is confusion. Can I get a witness? That's their nature. They are not satisfied when things are peaceful. They are not satisfied when there is harmony. Can I get a witness? They are always got some mess going on. Can I get a witness? I hate you like that. But every time confusion break out, you can trace it back to old so-and-so. Can I get a witness? You must remember that he says every kind is in the net. The next fish I want to name is the grinder. Well, the grinder spirit folk lack the grind of fish. You don't find many other fish around them because of the fact that that fish live off a little fish. Can I get a witness? Oh, Lord. You see, there are a lot of people in the church, in order to make themselves look good, they tear down everybody else. They destroy other folk in order to build themselves up. But I came to tell every one of you today, you don't have to tear down anybody. You just do what you're going to do. You don't have to criticize or try to make anybody else look small. Yeah. But you ought to just work the works of him that sent you while it is day. For when night cometh, no man can work. Can I get a witness? Well, not only the mudcat, not only the grinder, but there is another fish. Whether you're a fisherman or not, you ought to be acquainted with him. They call him the spoon-billed cat. Can I get a witness? The spoon-billed cat got a long bill. Can I get a witness? And when you catch a spoon-bill, when you cut off his bill, ain't nothing left. Yeah. Lord, I found a lot of members are like the spoon-bill. When you stop them from talking, can I get a witness? Ain't nothing else to them. That's all. To them is a lot of talk, but ain't gonna do a thing in the world. Can I get a witness? You don't have to talk so much if you just let your work for you and let your light shine. Men will see the good works and glorify the Father in heaven. Well, there's another fish that called the garfish. The garfish. You don't find many fish around here. That fish is a terrible fish. Can I get a witness? He's so terrible that he frightened all of the other fish and run them downstream while he stayed there all by himself. Oh, Lord. I've seen members like that. When they get through talking about me and criticizing the church, they run members away and they ain't going nowhere. Can I get a witness? Oh, Lord, I feel better now. Well, if it's good enough for you to stay, you ought to let others stay around instead of driving everybody else away. Oh, I feel better now. Have you seen folks like that? They are always criticized. They are always pointing out the bad. Oh, Lord. And they still stay there. But they can run away more people than I can preach up in a year. Can I get a witness? Oh, sometimes you got people that are friends of yours. They don't want nobody else to be your friend. They are jealous of it. And they will begin to criticize. And yet they will stay your friend and drive others away. Can I get a witness? But I heard him Say every kind is in the net. I'm going to close it now, but I'd like to name one or two more for you. One of those are what you call a little top water. Can I get a witness? And I think they've changed the name now, for they call them minerals. Yeah, Lord. They just swim on the top. And I don't care how old they are, they never grow any larger. Can I get a witness? Oh, Lord. I've seen members around the church 10, 20, and 30 years, but they're still minerals. They're still top water. Same little puny and weakly members. They can't sing, they can't pray, they can't pay, they can't say amen. Can I get a witness? But I got to close it now. But you ought to grow up sometime and not be so temperamental. The Lord been good to you. You ought to take a little more now than what you used to take. You ought to be able to stand still and fold your arms and let the Lord fight your battle for you. Can I get a witness? But oh Lord, there is another fish that is so well known to us. Can I get a witness? And that little fish, we keep him at home sometimes and put him in a jar. Can I get a witness? And we used to call them goldfish. Oh Lord, it just looked good, but that's all to it. Yeah, you can't cook him, you can't use him for bait. Yeah, this evening I came to tell you, I've seen some members just like the goldfish. They look good, but they ain't no good. Can I get a witness? I came to tell you this evening that you got to do more than look good. Oh Lord, you got to do more than have on a robe, than have on a uniform. I heard him say you must be born again. Born. I said born. Born. Until your hand look new. Born. Until your feet get light. Born. Until you can love your enemies. Born. Can I get a witness? I'm so glad, but that's not the end. I heard him say every kind is in the net, but don't worry, after a while, by and by, on the other side, yes, Lord, the net will be drawn to show the Lord, He knows the goat from the sheep. He knows the wheat from the tare. He knows the good from the bad. Can I get a witness? I'm so glad. I say I'm so glad that I am a child of God. I'm glad that I've been born again. I'm glad. I say I'm glad. I wonder if you're glad this evening. Do you know that you're a child of God? That you died? I said, died one time time, you ain't gonna die no more. Died until the fire began to burn. Died until the wheel began to turn. Died, 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 died. I'm glad that I've been born again. I'm too close to turn around. I'm on my way. If you're on your way, shake somebody's hand. Say, I'm on my way.